Hello and welcome to another cosmic download. So today's reading is going to take you from Monday the 20th of April all the way through to Sunday the 26th of April. So I'm going to set the intention. Please deliver guidance that will serve us as we move through this very exciting week. Help us to get clear. Help us to reconnect with what really matters to us individually, to wade through the noise, come back home to source, to intuition, so that we can start building and creating from a place of true alignment, so that we may reap the rewards that are waiting for us, that we all deserve. So we have just seen a very powerful and special new moon come in last Friday, the Aries new moon. Yeah, we've got a jumper. We'll love it. Where's it gone? Excuse me. And basically it's a time for major new beginnings, which is hence why I had a slightly different intention for us all. Oh, I love this. Okay, so Sky Dancers Surrender. Can you see that? Bring that closer if you want to stop and pause the audio or video here. Feel into this, look into the image. You can stop here if you wish. Okay. Otherwise, let's see what it says in the book. Sky Dancers. Liberation from attachment, surrender. When a sky dancer appears, she is inviting you to welcome the deepest power of the feminine into your life. You have already overanalyzed your situation to exhaustion. Now is the time to invite the sacred feminine, the wisdom within your heart, no matter your gender, to guide you to success. If you have become earthbound, plodding and planning and praying for change, cease and desist. Desist. I think that's what it says, desist. Break the habit of being yourself, of repeating the same behavior and hoping for a different outcome. Stop trying to figure it all out and stop overthinking it. Surrender. The Sky Dancers are heralding the arrival of a new relationship with yourself in your work or in your love life. Do not assume that this person or opportunity will rescue you. The only way to liberation is to kiss the ground goodbye and take flight, to rise above the fray and the drama of the struggling, arguing mind. Dance in the sky and view the madness below by simply witnessing the actors and the human comedy unfolding on the ground. You are transforming it. As you observe the drama, you unleash the power of the sacred feminine that allows for resolution. The Sky Dancers know the maps of heaven and the way to the holiest and most sacred spaces on earth. They come to help you with your current life, and even more important, to guide you to the realization of your own divinity. Just let that land for a moment. If you need to go back and listen to that, then by all means do so. I sometimes like to read these twice or more. So immediately a few things jump out for me. I have been diving quite deeply into what this new planetary alignment has in store for us over the next couple of weeks. So as I said, there was a very powerful Aries new moon that we saw in last Friday, just a few days ago. But from that point, over the next 2 weeks during this waxing moon up until the next full moon is a period where we are being invited to really shed all the noise and the nonsense and all the surface level stuff. We talked about this over the last couple of weeks, and that's where all the guidance has been directing us as well through the oracle cards. And now is a time for embodying this. So it's about getting out of the mind. Me personally, the last week, I have been asking a lot of questions, trying to better understand how to make the right decisions that work for me and my energy type. So really diving into my human design chart and trying to go another layer deeper with how I use that knowledge in my day-to-day life, in decision making and choices and things like that. And everything just is really, really coming back to this feel it, getting to the feminine body, because the masculine is the head, the thinking, the mind, and the feminine is the embodiment, the feeling, the emotions. Like, how is it stirring in you? Like, stop, pause, get quiet for a minute. Like, what does it feel like outside of this? Outside of the logic, outside of the reasoning, outside of the strategizing and all of that, and even the action taking. So I think there may have actually been a bit of a false start in some ways, because we started the new lunar calendar with this fire horse energy. There was so much hype about it, for the first 3 months of this year. Only recently it started to quiet down. And yes, we are in that fire horse energy, which is that year and the energy of action taking, boldness, courage, and all of those things. Yes, it is. But we are also still in this phase before all of that happens, before all of this crazy, big, bold action taking begins. There needs to be this quiet embodying within ourselves to make sure that we are taking the right action, the right bold moves, the right courageous steps forward, right for us, not right determined by anyone else or what's going on or what's trendy or what's working, not anything that comes from here or from external do's and don'ts, but what's right for us at this moment in our lives, what feels good, what lights us up, what's going to expand our energy field, raise our frequency, raise our vibration. That is the direction we want to be moving in. And surrender is always something that I am working with. I think probably more so in the last 12 months I've worked with the surrendering more than I've ever had. So when we are presented with challenges, I think it's normal for us to initially have that little bit of resistance and, oh, I don't want this, or I don't like this, or what's happening. But hopefully the deeper we do this self-development work, we are able to catch it quicker and say, oh, okay, I don't have to understand it, I don't have to even like it, but I accept it as a gift and I surrender. Because it's in that surrender, letting go of trying to control every outcome and control how things unfold for us, that's when we are able to start to shed and dissolve the ego. That's when we're able to make ourselves available for the universe's bigger plan. And there always is a bigger plan, a plan that our souls signed up for, which we in our earthly bodies don't necessarily remember. But for our own greater good, for our own evolution, for our transformation. So surrender, actually, just a moment ago, about an hour ago, we're having a slightly challenging moment in the home ed with my daughter, and I had to take a few deep breaths, and I was like, surrender, surrender, surrender. And, you know, it really is about reminding yourself to surrender and let go. Like, what is this teaching me in that moment? What was that teaching me? Was I going to react? Which, let's be honest, I've done that before in the past, and it hasn't led to any outcome that has been good for her or for myself. Or I can be me being not only the adult, but also being the person who's on this journey and consciously trying to grow and evolve, can be the one who says, okay, surrender, surrender, surrender. Let it be. What is this about? What is this teaching me? What can I see? What lessons are being presented to me? I don't have to understand everything. I don't have to have all the answers. I can just allow myself to be guided and to go with that flow, to jump into that stream of life and allow the river to take me where it needs to take me with some trust. Now, it says here, you know, this is all about getting out of the head, really. You have already overanalyzed your situation to exhaustion. I can so resonate with that. I'm such an overthinker, hence why I have a t-shirt which says, don't overthink it, to remind myself. And I think a lot of us do, because again, that's allows us to control, or we think it gives us the illusion that we are in control of things. But it's quite the opposite, isn't it, really? We know that. Time to invite the sacred feminine, which is the embodiment, the wisdom within your heart, irrespective of gender. We have become earthbound, plodding and planning and praying for change. But we've got to break the habit of being ourselves, because being ourselves will only create the same results. I think that's a beautiful reminder. I say this a lot in different ways. We have to go first. We have to start becoming different people from the inside first in order to see different results on the outside. I'm guessing most of you who are tuned in here already know this, but it's nice to have this reminder. Change begins from inside and from you, only you. Your relationships are not going to improve or get better unless you change the things about yourself and take that radical responsibility. Your material world, your environment is not going to change. Things at work are not going to change until you start making those shifts within yourself, whatever they are, whether they are big identity shifts, whether they are ego dissolving, whether it's things that you just have to face and look at yourself and be willing to see what is being mirrored and reflected to you. But we have to be that change first. And unless we change, we're not going to get any new results, because we are the co-creators of our life. So if we want different results, but we're not willing to do any of the internal work ourselves, I'm really sorry, but you're not going to get different results. That's just the law of nature. That is the law of the universe. I would think most of you tuning in probably already know that, but we all need reminding of it from time to time, don't we? Because it is easier to push the responsibility on something else or someone else, or hope that there is an easy scapegoat answer for your situation sometimes, but there isn't. It has to begin with us. Kiss the ground and take flight. Look down at all the drama, the struggling. Yeah, it's asking us to have that bigger perspective. Like, if you're tuning in, if you're somebody who felt called to tune in to this weekly guidance, if you're somebody who is actively on this path, whether you're at the beginning or whether you're seasoned, it matters not. you are in the minority, because unfortunately most people are not doing this work. It may feel like they are because that might be your community, that might be your world, and we can forget that actually the majority of the people out there just don't even have an awareness of this, or aren't even consciously trying to step into this world. Not yet, anyway. And we have to be the leaders in this. It is for us to take the steps first and lead by example. And one of those things, by detaching ourselves and liberating ourselves from the attachment of the outcomes, by surrendering, we are able to have this bigger bird's eye perspective and be able to look down and say, okay, I can see everyone else just still in that pattern, still caught in that trap, still in the old, stories and traps and limitations, and they're going back and forth and doing this and that, but I don't need to be a part of it. I can stand back and I can say, no, there is a different way, and I will be doing things a different way. I'm not going to get caught up in their drama. And that's the reality of it. If you work for somebody and you go into an office, or if you, even maybe family members, let's be honest, even family members, right? If you're the only one on this path within your group, your current community or your current group, it can feel quite isolating, because when you're there in that social gathering or in that room with them, you may be amongst 10 other people who are all caught up in the drama, all caught up in the he said, she said, I did, you did, pointing fingers, not taking responsibility, stuck in scarcity, stuck in lack, small thinking, coming just from their ego and all of those things. And you may feel really quite different, and that's okay. I know that can feel a little isolating and sometimes feel a little bit lonely, but this is where, as a side note, you need to go and also make sure you have a community of people that can support you in your growth as well. And if you don't, please join my community, right? Of other amazing women. And yeah, to stand back and allow them to get on with their drama. Let them get on with it. It's not your job to save them. It's not your job to show them or convince them. You lead by example. If they are curious because they've seen the changes within you, then, and they come to you, then share it. Otherwise, let them carry on. You just don't get sucked in, right? Observe it. Sky dancers know the maps of heaven and the way to the holiest and most sacred spaces on earth. They come to help you with your current life, and more important, to guide you to the realization of your own divinity. Because we are, remember, divine beings, spiritual beings having a human experience. We are. This path of spiritual awareness, awakening, is just a remembrance, something that we all have access to. And eventually all will go on that journey of remembering. I love it. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Here is the card. Dropped it. Here is the card again for you there. Sky dancers, surrender. There you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back here next week. Have an amazing week. Bye.